Hi there, my name is Carmel Hauck. My student number is T00701793. I am doing my oxygen flow assignment for you today. So I'm going to start with my rebreathing machine. We have an F circuit in our clinic for our dental area. So that is what I'm going to be demonstrating on. We start with our oxygen tanks. So our tanks in the dental area are kind of connected to the back wall so that they're securely against there and they won't fall over. Our tanks have oxygen reducing valves right off of the tank itself so that it can bring the oxygen down to usable levels. We're going to follow this white tubing. I'm just going to put my camera angle for you. So we follow this white tubing. It goes down through behind this cart and it attaches to the back of my flow meter. So this is the next step for the oxygen, is to go through here, and then it comes out through this black tubing here in through my vaporizer inlet. This is the inlet part of it where it goes in, and then it goes through the vaporizer and combines with the isoflurane, and then out through our outlets. This is our outlet cord, and we're going to follow that up and around. And this goes through the inspiratory limb of our machine, so it just connects back here. And that brings us to our inhalation valves, and then our flutter valves up here as well. So those are inspiratory limb flutter valves. And then from that point, it connects to our tubing, our hose. So this hose, the inspiratory section, is the blue inside, the blue inner tube. So it goes all the way down our hose. This is where it connects to the endotracheal tube to the patient. So the oxygen and isoflurane would go into the patient would exhale, and it goes back through the clear tubing through the expiratory limb, which is up and around here, and then it bypasses into this offshoot, which takes us to the expiratory limb, and then we have our expiratory flutter valves, as well as the rest of our limb. So the oxygen and the exhaled gases come through here, and then they're going to go down into our granules, and that's where you're going to get processed, and the CO2 is going to be absorbed, and then they're going to go partially back out this way into our reservoir bag to be rebreathed, and then the rest are going to go out through our pop-off valve and through our scavenger hose, which is this pink hose here. And then the scavenger hose does its thing and gets rid of those gases for us. So that was tracing the oxygen flow of a rebreathing circuit. Okay, so we are going to be leak testing our rebreathing circuit, our F circuit today. I am going to cover off the end of the tube with the palm of my hand just to stop the whole flow of oxygen. I will tell you, I did this immediately prior to filming, and there was a pretty sizable leak, so I'm going to have to look into that. But to leak test the machine, we're going to fully close our pop-off valve. And then we're going to turn our oxygen on. And then we're going to watch our manometer here go up to about 20 centimeters of water. I'm just going to flush it to help us get there. And then as you can see, it's already coming down quite a bit. So in order to calculate the volume of my leak, you just turn the oxygen back on to where it kind of holds steady. So I'm calculating that at about a 500 mil, 450, 500 mil leak. That is where my needle's holding steady. So I'm gonna have to check into that to figure out where the leak's coming from. You wanna check the neck of your reservoir bag, you wanna check your CO2 canister, you wanna check your valves, and you wanna check your hosing to make sure there's no holes or leaks at all. But it's holding now, so then what we would do is we would open our oxygen would be off, and then we would open our pop-off valve. And then the pressure will come out of our bag, we can let go of the end of the tube. And then I think I'm gonna go do it on our other rebreathing machine just so that you can see what it would look like if there were no leaks. Okay, so just for the purpose of the essential skill, I've moved to our other rebreathing system, and I'm going to check this one for you as well. So I'm going to block off the end of this with my palm here, and then I'm going to close our pop-off valve. We're going to put our oxygen on, And I'm just going to watch my manometer here, give a bit of a flush, and then I'm going to turn my oxygen off. And with this machine, you can see that it's holding steady right at 20, so I'm going to wait about 15 seconds. Perfect. So it hasn't moved. That means there's no leaks. This machine is safe to use. So we're going to open our pop-off valve again. The pressure is going to come down out of our bag, and then I can take off my hand from the end. Okay, so now we are going to add the Bain circuit attachment to our F-circuit rebreathing machine. So this is a non-rebreathing circuit. So we just have a couple things to change out here. This just sits right on this base here, and then all we have to do is disconnect our rebreathe system here from the outlet and add our Bain system to the outlet here. And then all we have to do is disconnect our scavenger and reconnect it down here to our Bain system. And now our Bain is good to go. So I'm going to show you the oxygen flow of the Bain system. So same idea, we start with our oxygen tanks with our oxygen reducing valve here, down through this white line. Again, we connect down through here to our flow meter, up the flow meter through here to our inlet. So this is our vaporizer inlet, our vaporizer system where the isoflurane is introduced, and then our vaporizer outlet. So this jumps through here to our inspiratory section of this circuit. That's that inner blue hose as well again. This goes to our endotracheal tube to the patient. The patient will exhale. It'll go through the clear tubing system and then back through our system, through the rebreathing bag, and then out through the scavenger hose. And that is the Bain non-rebreathing oxygen flow. And I will pause and I don't need to. Okay, so I'm going to be leak testing the Bain system, the non-rebreathing system. So to do that, I'm just going to secure my thumb in the end of the tube so that no air can leak around of it. I'm going to close my pop-off valve, and then I'm going to turn my oxygen on, and my bag down here is filling up. And I'm going to turn my oxygen on once my pressure manometer hits about 20, so about there. And then I'm just going to hold and make sure that this maintains for about 15 seconds, and it is maintaining well. Perfect, so it hasn't moved, which means I can now open my pop-off valve. The pressure will come down, the bag will empty, and I can take my thumb out of the end of that. Now that was to test the integrity of the outer tube. We do also have to check for leaks on the inner tube. So I have a pen that fits right into that. We're going to keep our pop-off valve open, but we're going to put oxygen on. And then we're going to let it flow for a little bit, close off the end of this, and then as we're watching the ball, we want the ball to drop slightly, like that. When can you see it? So you want the ball to drop like that, and that means that the pressure has built up and it's going all the way back through our vaporizer and then into our flow meter. So there are no leaks along that system. Now, if we were to calculate leaks for the same system, for the Bain, it's similar to the one that we just did for the rebreathing system. So if there were to be a leak, we would just, with the pop-off valve closed and our thumb still in, we would slowly turn the oxygen back on to the point where the pressure manometer stays still or starts going up again. And then we would know, depending on where the oxygen level's at, how big of a leak we have. So it's very similar to what I just showed you with the rebreathing machine.